With a nice very wet bill. It's against the law for her to move the bills if you back in the days of oatmeal, right around the time I became a dopey, ate some codeine as a
Hey, what's up everybody? In today's video, I wanted to discuss the topic of slumps or ruts, specifically to your wakeboard riding, because this summer for me has been a really bad slump of a year. And it started about 2 seasons ago in the spring of 2022. Started off the season normal, like in March, April here in northern Utah. And normally for me, it takes me until about the end of May, beginning of June to find my legs and get my consistency back, where I'm being able to string tricks together and get my normal trick lines back. But that year I suffered a pretty bad ankle sprain in April, and didn't let that stop me from riding. I would tape up my ankle and continued on, and found my riding around July and started getting my legs back and consistency around late July, early August. Last year, same thing happened. Right around mid-May, I suffered a high ankle sprain, this time on a Wrap 360. And I never suffered a high ankle sprain before. And from what I was told, that's the worst kind of ankle sprains to deal with. And that one took a lot longer to heal from, to the point where I had to wrap my ankle, tape up my ankle for the entire year. And I didn't find my riding until late August, early September, if that. I wouldn't even say that I got my riding back fully. This year, it started off a little bit better. Got my boat into the water in late March, which was nice to be back on the water a little bit earlier than usual. But then things started going well. Not great, but well. Much better, heading in a much better direction. And then at the very end of May, I jacked up my ankle again, over-rotating a big back roll into the flats. And again, I didn't let it discourage me or stop me from getting on the water. I started wrapping my ankle again and still got on the water because unlike, I'm 51 years old, I'm not young, and I know a lot of people even younger than me, they'd be tired and, fed up with getting hurt all the time, and they'd probably switch to wake surfing or foiling or even going back to slalom or, trying something different, or sell their boat and get out of water sports entirely. But that's not my case. I never got discouraged. I always had the mindset of, okay, next time, the next set will be better. I'll figure this out the next time. And so, but it just never really started to click, and it hasn't. We're at the beginning of September now, and I've been still struggling. There's been a couple of sets here and there that I would consider like a slump buster set, but it wasn't a slump buster set because the very next time I'd go back to crashing over and over again on my warm-up tricks, what I consider my warm-up tricks. I couldn't even land a heel side back row or a toe side back row or a tantrum, just stuff like that. I couldn't string tricks together. There's only been a couple of sets that it was like that. And so, thankfully I have a great crew to ride with. They've been so positive and encouraging and keeping me motivated and keeping my passion for the sport high. I haven't let it stop me from getting the boat on the water, like I said, because for me, getting on the water and having a day or two a week with my friends is what it's all about. Even if I ride bad, that doesn't stop me from having a good time just being on the water. It's my sanctuary, it's my outlet from work, so I look forward to having a day where I can just joke around and encourage other people to ride their best and receive that in return from them. So thank you very much to my crew here in northern Utah. And at the same time, I'm a coach by profession. I'm one of the national team coaches for U.S. speed skating at the Olympic level. And so I obviously have a big bag of tools to draw on to help my athletes in situations like this when they're not when their skating isn't going so well. And I've been trying to draw on that experience and try to connect the dots in my head to figure this out. But for whatever reason, I just haven't been able to do it. And when I get into the water, the line goes tight. I don't feel confident with the handle in my hand. I haven't felt the air awareness when I'm upside down or spinning, to the point where it's so frustrating that I have no confidence when I'm edging into the wake, that I don't know what's going to happen. And obviously that's not a good mind space to be in when you're cutting into the wake. Causes hesitation, and as we know, hesitation can oftentimes lead to injuries. So I reached out to Sean Murray and Darren Shapiro. Obviously, they're two icons in this sport. I'm fortunate to call both of them friends. And while Sean is still in the sport actively, Darren has been out of the sport for a while now and shifted his passion to jiu-jitsu. Obviously, the guy still knows the sport. So I reached out to both of them, and if, we're all around the same age, come from the same generation of swinging at the wake, trying to go big out into the flat. So if there was any two riders that I felt like would understand what I'm trying to accomplish, because I don't ride slow and short line. I ride a long line at faster speeds like the old days. I ride 90 feet rope at 26.8 miles an hour on a modern boat. So I have a 2016 Super SA 550, fully ballasted, and normally I have no less than 4 people in my crew. So the wake is obviously big. But I'm still trying to ride old school style. And, a lot of people would probably argue that that's not the smartest thing. But I'm trying to, I've had, years since I've had this boat where it was fine. It was never an issue. So I know it's something that I'm doing wrong, and I'm trying to figure it out. So they got back to me really quick, and I sent them some videos for analysis, and they got back to me with their feedback, which was gold. Thank you to both of you for getting back to me so quickly, and it makes perfect sense. And I'm going to try and apply it to the next time I get out on the water and see if I can fix and solve some of these problems and get back to having some consistency in my riding. With that said, please drop some comments below if you've ever experienced a riding slump that you went through personally, and what you did yourself to get out of it and solve it, because I'm always looking for creative new ways to get around that kind of stuff. And again, I've tried everything. I went to a shorter line, slower speed, a normal 22.5 to 23 mile an hour at 75 feet rope. I tried that. I even tried a no ballast set, working on just fundamentals. That actually made it worse because my timing was just all jacked up when I went back to my normal setup. And then I even sized up my board because I like riding a shorter board, like a 130. I ride the O'Brien Valhalla 138, and I like the 138 because, number one, I'm a small guy. I'm only 5 feet 5 inches tall. I'm pretty heavy for my size. I'm 220 plus pounds, and I have very short legs. So for me, it's not just about the board size, it's also about the binding spacing. And the 138, I feel, has the perfect spacing for me in the middle slot, or the middle hole. Whereas when I sized up to the 143, which probably would suit my body weight better, the stance was either too wide or a little bit too narrow. And if I rode a modern day setup where it's shorter line with a slower speed, I would shift 100% to riding a bigger board. But I'm trying to figure out my normal setup, because I have done it, and I've done it for seasons prior. So I'm stuck in a bad rut right now. I'm trying to figure that out. So it's not like I haven't been able to do it before. So with that said, again, I appreciate you guys watching this video and for the support of my channel. And again, please drop some comments below if you have any advice or suggestions. I'd really love to hear it, all right? Until then, keep riding, and I really appreciate your guys' support. Aloha.
want a lady